Hi, this is Johnathan Smith. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Spring's REST template to post data to a web service. Before we start, I would like to tell you that you could go to my website at any time, JohnathanMarkSmith.com, and read the tutorial and also see all the other tips and tricks I put up there. And I'm basically going to be following my web page, and I'm going to be going over the example of how to actually use the Spring's REST template to post data to a web service. It's pretty easy once you get the tricks of it. So basically, the first part of my code, what we're going to go into right here, is actually pretty easy thing. This is the web service part of my code, and as you can see, I set up a controller. I set up the path that it's going to look for, and then right here on the request mapping, I look for a value of an ID coming in. Now, this is just like Spring's MVC, so then if you know Spring's MVC, this should be pretty easy for you. But then on here, I say the path value of ID, whatever's coming in the ID, put it into this string called ID, and also in the request body, take whatever it is and put it into my user object. And then as you can see over here, I just write out the ID and I write out the name in my user object. Pretty simple. Now, let's take a look at the user object. The user object has two variables, a user and name, and it has to have a blank constructor. I'm not 100% sure why Johnson needs it, but it does need this constructor for some reason. I've been looking into it and I haven't found any real reasons why you need it, but every time I take it out, it stops working. So you definitely need a blank constructor in your object for Johnson to work. If anyone knows why you need it, can you please send me a message? I would love to add it to the video. But as you can see, it just takes in a user and a name, and it has getters and setters for it. Now for the good part, the client code. This is the piece what everyone is probably waiting for. I have a class, and of course it has a property source because I wanted to check for my property file, some information. It's probably server information, stuff like that. So, and then I have, here's my class main, and in my public static void main, I just write out to the debugging. I use log4j, logging that, starting the REST service. Then I have my application context, and that's actually pointing to my config class. And now for my config class, I grab a bean called REST service. This is nothing more than the server host name. That's all I have in there right now. But now I set up this map as string, which is a hash map, and I'm going to put my value of ID and what I want the ID to equal. Now let's move down a little bit. Now as you see, if we're going to move down a little bit, I set up a REST template, RT template, and then I set up then I give it the message converter. I wanted to convert it to a JSON, JSON object. Sorry, I got turn tag there. Then right now I'm going to say here, create a string. I called it URL, HTTP, the REST service, the host, :8080, and then I have my Spring's MVC template test example /API/app as we saw. Then I create a user object and I put my name, Johnathan Mark Smith, and a little ID in there as my user. And then this is the whole magic. On my REST template, I do a post for object, passing the string where it goes, the object that I want to pass as part of the body, the return object or type I'm looking for, and all the palms that I want to be substituted on the command line. If you see this ID, what happens is the template's actually going to take the values from here, look for ID, and put that into the post. And then I get back John object and I write it out. That's pretty much all it takes to actually get data to and from a web service using Spring's web service and to use Spring's REST template. If you want to get my source, you can actually go right here on GitHub. All my sources right there. It's Spring's MVC-template-test. And like always, you could go up to my website, JohnathanMarkSmith.com. Again, it's JohnathanMarkSmith.com. And you could reread this example. You could follow this example once again. or do whatever you want with it. But again, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to get me. But this is how easy it is to use Spring's REST template to post data to a web service. Thank you, and looking forward from hearing from you.